All right, welcome, kings and queens. Today we are back, y'all, and we are talking P. Diddy. This is one of those topics that I think we can come to expect it to probably hit us daily with some new updates. I anticipate new civil suit upon civil suit upon civil suit upon civil suit. And today we are talking P. Diddy because he's yet again being sued by a woman who's claiming that he drugged her, he raped her, and he impregnated her. But not only that, hold on. Guess who else is named in the lawsuit? Young Miami. Young Miami is being accused of harassment by the victim. Now, Young Miami first came on my radar when another young lady went on Tasha K's channel. Her name is Gina. She accused Puff Daddy of some very, very, very disturbing things. She accused him basically of the same things that we are hearing and seeing in the civil lawsuits. And I just want to put a reminder out there. No one has formally brought any criminal charges against P. Diddy. The victims are choosing to go the civil route and sue him and his estate and his businesses and his entities for undisclosed amounts, okay? So Gina shared her story, her horrible story with Tasha K. And I know she and Young Miami went back and forth, and there was some harassment there. I mean, let's keep it real. Young Miami said some pretty disturbing things to Gina, and we're going to talk about this lawsuit, okay? So let's just jump right in. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
Now this, okay, let's get into it, y'all. This is not the first time that Young Miami has been named in a court document or a suit, okay? Let's just say court documents regarding P. Diddy and her role and her relationship with him, not only in the freak-offs, but also making sure that he got his fixes when it came to Tusi. And I'm going to tell you what Tusi is. Young Miami was accused in November. Was it November? No, it was earlier. I think March 2024. Young Miami was being accused of flying drugs to Diddy during her romance with him. Okay. I don't know if y'all remember that. When Lil Rod Jones accused Diddy of consuming pink cocaine, he actually reported. So what this is, pink cocaine, it's a mixture of ecstasy and cocaine. And on the street is known as Tusi, Tuci. Okay. And Lil Rodney, in his lawsuit, he claimed that at least on one occasion that he know, and he named her, that Carisha Brownlee transported pink cocaine from Miami on a flight to Miami for Puff Daddy. Okay? And I want to get into the details about that. Lil Rod claims that Puffy was rehearsing for something in the Water Festival in Virginia. And Jones said he himself personally witnessed Puffy do a few lines of coke in his dressing room. Now that's regular coke. Ooh, Lord Jesus. It seemed like they got different versions of it. But he said he personally witnessed Puffy do a few lines of coke in his dressing room, but that's not what Puffy wanted. Puffy wanted that Tusi. And nobody had the Tusi. Because his alleged handler that would give him the things that make him feel good forgot it. So Christina Coram called Young Miami, who then brought it on a private jet from Miami. That was shared in the court documents in Lil Rod's lawsuit. Okay, so this isn't the first time that Young Miami has been accused of being a ride or die, y'all, for P. Diddy. And Young Miami, I'm gonna say this is not looking good for you. I know for some time she's been pretty quiet here lately regarding, she's been pretty tight-lipped on her current status with Diddy. So she's trying to go off grid and kind of separate herself. Do y'all think they're still together? Do you think Lil Miami behind the scenes is still with Diddy? And I ask that for a specific reason. At first, when everything happened and they quote unquote separated, I was like, nah, they're not together. But now that Carisha Please is back on and she has her show, I'm scratching my head. And I can't help but to wonder if she has to fulfill her obligation. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts? Do you think they're together? And you know what? Let's go ahead and get to this claim that this new victim has brought out against Young Miami in this new lawsuit that was filed today, September 27th, 2024. The lawsuit alleges that Diddy impregnated the victim and Young Miami encouraged the victim to abort the baby. Whew. According to the victim, Diddy's staff allegedly recorded their sexual encounters without the victim's consent. At this point, there seems to be a reoccurring theme among the victims, their recounts of what's happened to them, and all of them are pretty much saying the same thing. So it seems like Puffy, his legal troubles, they continue to stack up against him, y'all. Now, here's my thing. I'm going to say this. I don't think anybody's going to get any money. I think they'll be lucky if they see anything, because I think the government, the federal government, they're going to get theirs first. They're going to get theirs first. And I've told you that before in previous content where I shared. I believe that they're going to try to bleed him dry of any financial resources. But however, let me share this with you. I know from a source, a very close source, that Puffy has money tied up in different people's names that cannot be touched. Let's just say that. So even if they take what he has, his assets, he has his money tied up in his son's name, and there's also money tied up in his mother's name. So he did a really good job. I'm just saying, he ain't dumb. He did a really good job of hiding the money. So let's get back to this lawsuit. According to the USA Today reports, according to the USA Today, now the victim is not being named, but I wonder if it was the girl that upset Young Miami. Y'all, there was a YouTube blogger, an influencer. At one point, I covered the story that Puffy was seen out with. It was actually, I don't know. I'm just saying. Now, I don't know this for sure, but I can't help but to wonder if it's that girl. And that girl actually was a beautiful girl. Young Miami really had a very negative reaction to seeing him out with this girl, and she called it off with him publicly, and she posted, I don't know if y'all remember, she went to Twitter and said, I'm single. I wonder if it's this young lady. But the USA Today reports the case was filed on September 27th, thus today, in New York State Supreme Court by a Jane Doe. Now, for my legal experts, is there any reason why they would not release her name? Because she's a public figure? Is it because she's a person of notoriety? That's why I wonder if it's the YouTuber, the influencer. I can't help but to wonder. Okay. It includes allegations of sexual assault and abuse that took place from 2020 to 2024. The suit claims that Combs drugged the unnamed woman as she was compelled to ingest an unknown subject, which caused her to black out. She was then allegedly forced to have vaginal intercourse without her consent and was impregnated. Y'all, chew on that for a second. These monsters, or let me back up. It sounds like they don't want consent. Because the more I start to read this, I'm like, well, first of all, most of the victims, not all, have been women, most. But they don't even want them to consent, because they are drugging these women, they are drugging these men, and they are doing things that probably most people would not consent to. Shit, even in a drunken state. So this victim shares her account of which she can recall what happened to her. And not only that, he didn't use protection because she was later impregnated. Okay. The suit also mentions Young Miami, city girl, okay, and Diddy's girlfriend at the time harassed her by repeatedly calling her and telling her to have a you-know-what. Now, my question to y'all is, do you think Puffy put her up to it? Are y'all going with the Young Miami as a victim? Or do you think Young Miami was standing on some bullshit behind this man and harassing this girl? My second thought is it Gina? Is it Gina? And maybe they're not naming Gina for fear of her safety. Okay? Because I know Young Miami had a hateful, very hateful attitude towards that young lady, okay? Combs and his staff also allegedly recorded their sexual encounters without consent, which caused the victim to fear for her safety and experience anxiety and depression. Some events accounted for in the suit even include instances that took place this past July. This past July. So whomever this is, okay, it appears as if they stayed around up until this past July. I'm going to go with either Gina or I'm going to go with the influencer, okay, which was after the Bad Boy founders' homes were raided by Homeland Security. Allegedly, Combs continued to contact the alleged victim in order to control her actions and autonomy. It could be Gina. Attorney Marie Napoli said in the statement to the USA Today, powerful figures in the entertainment industry have long exploited aspiring artists and fans. Recent high-profile lawsuits aim to hold these celebrities accountable. I don't think we'll ever be able to hold them accountable. I think we can do the best we can. I think we're going to have to come up with tougher laws. And the problem with that is the men that make the law are also, in my opinion, guilty of having some of these deep, dark, demonic appetites to harm women, to engage women and men without their consent. So, I don't know, y'all. This is a tough one, in my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, fame and wealth do not protect. They're saying fame and wealth do not protect Sean Diddy Combs from serious allegations of sex trafficking and abuse. This isn't the first time Young Miami was named. I told y'all that before, in a lawsuit filed against Diddy, as she was also named in another lawsuit with Rodney Lil Rod Jones back in March. And she was accused of transporting drugs for him. Y'all, these ride or die. You know what? Within the additional 25 pages that was added to Lil Rod's filing, the suit went into detail about Diddy's affinity towards pink cocaine, a combination of ecstasy and cocaine, also known as Tusi and Tushi. I guess I'm saying it right. The filing says Diddy was obtaining the drugs from his accused drug mule, Brendan Paul, who was recently arrested but wound up getting them from Young Miami. Diddy was arrested, of course, y'all know, September 16th in New York City, and he officially faces 3 counts included in the indictment: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Listen, as a reminder, remember, none of these people are pressing charges on him. None of these people are going to the police. These people are lawyering up, and they're suing, and they're asking for money for their pain and suffering. What are your thoughts on that? Let's take it to the chat.